So when you hear me speak and the things I say, I'm speaking to my people.
If you ask me, I'll tell you what is wrong with the world. We're being desensitized from the things we should feel. Living our lives in these times while we suffer inside, and we can't see the problems because the masses are blind. Let's try and find a solution. We're not helping ourselves. We're walking around unattached and disconnected from self. Too comfortable and too scared. That's why we never rebel. That's why we catch me writing rhymes and trying to balance the scales. Put car on the roads. It seems like dawn of the dead. Zombies, robots, lemons being misled. It's like we're sheep to the slaughterhouse on the conveyor belt, about to self-destruct cause we're under a spell. We search for purpose but nothing ever surfaces. We need to be accountable cause we're deserving this. Alarm bells are ringing but it's like you refuse to wake up. Subconsciously you're hitting on the snooze. It's just another day in this world while we're living under the spell. When you travel through realms, just make sure you prevail. Elevate for yourself. You need to stop sleepwalking. We're blinded by the rubbish and glamorized materials. Imperialism has got us fearing rules. I'm tired of these rappers rapping about their cars and jewels. If you take a step back, they will define buffoons. The saddest thing is that they're in the minds of all the children. They keep our money motivated and that's how they kill them. But do we care? No. Young money's here. That's why I aim this 2 inches above your earlobe, so we can all start pulling in the same direction. Cause it seems to me like we've lost that connection. Man, you've sold your soul, so you show no affection. Get to know yourself and love your reflection. It's like your brain's a phone and you got no reception. Arm your mind with knowledge, use it as a weapon. Alarm bells are ringing, but it's like you refuse to wake up. Subconsciously you're hitting on the snooze. It's just another day in this world while we're living under the spell. When you travel through realms, just make sure you prevail. Elevate for yourself. You need to stop sleepwalking.
There has to be some accountability. You have to have some self-accountability. You have to say for yourself, what am I going to do that's right for me, man? When am I going to take ownership for what I do to me and my people?
What's up, everybody? Back with another video. I just want to do a quick video. I just saw this breaking news. It's just like super. It's super interesting, and the day fits perfectly as far as what today is, as far as them ushering energy. It's a perfect fitting because they want to make you believe this. They want you to embody this, and they want you to go have this in your mind, right? This is what they're doing to the sheep. And this is where you either have a slave mentality or you have a free man's or a man or just a free person, a free human being understanding. There's a difference. There's a slave mentality. Slave mentality reads that, they believe that shit. Straight. Look at all the headlines. All the headlines are like, oh, Supreme Court ruling. Look, let's read the headlines. Supreme Court ruling upholds bar on guns under domestic violence restraining order. Supreme Court allows ex-council members hold on. Okay, Supreme Court upholds laws banning domestic abusers from owning guns. Supreme Court uphold law prohibiting domestic abusers from owning guns, right? Everybody sees this. Look, here's another one. The Supreme Court refuses to accept blame for its worst gun decision in U.S. versus Raleigh, whatever. Supreme Court upholds the federal gun ban for those under domestic violence restraining orders. Okay. Everyone reads that. Everyone gets their all panties in a bunch, and, because why? The average human being, the average American does not understand law. They don't even understand what they're talking about. They don't understand that this is one case. Okay, so if you're going through a similar situation, bitch, you're not gonna have a fucking gun. Okay, you gotta read the case first off. This motherfucker don't deserve a firearm. No, he does not deserve to have a gun. This motherfucker, luckily, he's out in society. That's what you should be asking. Why the fuck is this motherfucker even out like that? We can all agree this motherfucker's a danger to society. lessons. You know, there's lessons you got to learn, right? And we're gonna touch on a couple things quick because I don't want to make this too long. I'm enjoying the day. I'm out here outside. All right, about to get ready to eat some lunch. But anyways, the Supreme Court on Friday upheld a federal law that bars anyone subject to a domestic violent restraining order from possessing a gun. First off, you got to understand the whole domestic violence process. Okay, I was just talking about this yesterday, ironically. Okay, and how is this going down? Right? How is this going to go down? I mean, they already have stuff like this already, right? They say you do, but do you really have to do it? Are they going to come take them? Are they going to come seize them? Are they going to demand you and imprison your body? You see, you got to read. People don't read. They jump to conclusion. They want to talk about this. Oh, you know, this doesn't apply to you. This doesn't apply to you. It doesn't apply to me. If you know, if there's an abuser out there, that's a whole different story. I'm talking about a person who's here, who knows themselves, who's upright, who's not going to harm anybody. You know, this doesn't even apply to you. It's not even nothing to think about. It's not nothing to even fucking worry about. All right. So it says, you know, the ruling, protects the right of people to keep and bear arms. The ruling, all right. This was in 2023. It was a big hoopla in 2023. I remember this. But uh, basically, okay. Now, I got to get through this kind of quick, right? The guy, Zaki Rami, argued that the law violates the Second Amendment, and in the wake of the Supreme Court decision in Bruin versus U.S. Court of Appeals and the Fifth Circuit agreed. It explained that although the government was not required to identify a historical twin to the law, it had not provided the kind of well-established and representative analog needed for the law to survive. On Friday, the court reversed the Fifth Circuit's decision surveying early English and American gun laws. It concluded that since the founding of the United States, firearm laws have included provision preventing individuals who threaten physical harm to others from misusing firearms, which there's been case law for so long on this, guys. There's nothing new here, guys. Nothing. They just want you to embody this energy, believe it, and become and have a slave fucking mentality. All right? This doesn't apply to you, okay? Justice Clarence Thomas, the author of the court's decision, was a lone dissenter, unlike the majority. He believed the federal government had not provided any evidence that a ban issue here is consistent with the nation's historical tradition of firearm regulation. The early laws, which the majority points to support its holding, Thomas contended, are in reality too different from the ban here to serve as an historical analog. Rami's case, Thomas concluded, it is not about whether states can disarm people who threaten others, because states already have a way to do so by charging the person making the threat with aggravated assault. The real question he suggested is whether the government can strip Second Amendment rights for anyone subject to a protective order. This is where everyone's missing. It's all to do with a order, which is a administrative process, okay? An administrative process, right? Even if he has never been accused of committing of a crime, it cannot, he asserted. And that's true, all right? But you got to understand what this motherfucker had done, right? This motherfucker has done, hold on. This motherfucker has done, hold on. Let me read to you real quick what this motherfucker has done, right? Hold on. Shit, where is it at? I don't lost it. Hold on. Basically, one of the crimes this dude has done. All right, hold on. Where's it at? Let me get back to it. Oh shit. Oh shit. I want to read it word for word, right? Oh man. Hold on. Okay. Okay, hold on, guys. Sorry about that. What's good, Brandon Mitchell? All right. This is what this motherfucker did, right? This is what he did. And you could agree this motherfucker should not have this is common law, bitch. You shouldn't have no gun. Fuck that. You're a danger to society. Rami pulled out a gun and fired it at a passerby who witnessed him dragging his girlfriend through a parking lot. All right? This is what he did. He dragged his girl through the parking lot, slammed her in the car. She bashed her head on the dashboard, which, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But when you take the gun, right, and you misuse it, Boom, there it is right there. See, you got to look deep into the case. Each case is different, right? He repeatedly shot at the other driver, right? No, no, I'm sorry. He said months later after getting into an accident, he repeatedly shot at the other driver, right? That was months after that. So what they're missing in this ad, this article, and you'll see it in another article, fired a shot at somebody that witnessed him drag a girl through the parking lot, right? Oh no, it says it right here. Sorry. Rami pulled out a gun and fired it at a passerby who witnessed him dragging his girlfriend through the parking lot. Months later, after getting into an accident, he repeatedly shot at the other driver, right? And then in 2021, he fired several times after a friend's credit card was declined at a Wahlburger joint. This motherfucker don't need to be nowhere near no gun. I mean, come on, man. Like this is like to even be talking about this is like it shows the ignorance and the slave mentality. Everybody's all in a hoopla. No, that goes to the slaves, man. Are you a slave? This don't apply to you, man. This doesn't apply to you. And then the other thing is they put in domestic violence through with gun legislation. No, it's not even going to apply to mostly nobody will get into this situation. Okay, if you get a domestic violence charge, they can go. Anyone could go down and do an administrative process, get a domestic. Oh, he did this, he did that. It has to go through a whole due process, right? And then after that, okay, you got a restraint order, you got to turn in your guns. They'll tell you, but do you got to? Think about it. What's their process of you turning in the firearms? Where's it at? Where is it? Thank you. Think about it. No, there was just Google Supreme Court ruling today on domestic violence and guns. It's going to come up. It was big news. They're trying to use this energy in here to put up people all in it. No, don't let it do it to you. I'm here telling you, look, it is what it is. It's not going to affect any fucking body unless you're doing shit like this. Okay. And domestic violence, guys, I've told y'all many times, there's domestic violence and then there's corporal punishment, guys. Okay. Now, I'm gonna read to you case law to nip that in the bud because a lot of these motherfuckers they know man and woman, well, in this day and age, anybody in a relationship is gonna fucking fight. They know that. Don't let them use it against you. Pull out their laws, right? I'm never got to worry about because I'm never gonna fight anybody, but I'm just saying pull out their laws and show them, like, look, this is what y'all laws say, right? This is what y'all should say. You know what their law says? Because this is a form of corporal punishment, guys. Okay. I learned corporal punishment was legal when I was going through family court with my ex, and at the time she was putting her hands on the kids. They said, shit, you can do that as long as it's not this way. I'm like, what? She fucking them up with like extension cords and all kind of shit. I'm like, what do you mean? Corporal punishment? Well, there's nothing you really can do. I'm like, what? So I furthered my research. This was like, God, 15 years ago, 16 years ago. And then I found out corporal punishment on adults is legal, guys. All right. So have a slave mentality and think that this is all some big hoopla. It's nothing. It ain't going to affect pretty much anybody. It's just another thing they have in the law books to kind of like say, look at here. In reality, it's not going to affect you because as it stands right now, you do not got to turn in anything because they could just tell you you got to, but do you have to? They can't make you. Remember, you're an actual private entity, right? They'll create you as a corporate entity, right? Because that's what exists here, public and private. If you play that game, you get caught up, then hey, that's on you. But it doesn't apply to you. But let me tell you about uh the the laws that support corporal punishment against adults in the United States, right? It's legal. Precedents has been interpreted as allowing for corporal punishment in certain contexts, particular in contexts of marriage and relationship. Here are a few examples. State versus Black, 1864. This North Carolina Supreme Court case established that, listen, this is a marital exception doctrine. This is here in the United States. They ain't gonna tell you about it. They'll say everything's domestic violence. No, it's not. Marital exception doctrine, which allowed a husband to physically discipline his wife in moderation. That's fucked up if people do that. But I'm just saying, the law says, look, this is the way it goes, right? Thompson versus State, 1886. The Texas Court of Appeals upheld a husband's right to moderately chastise his wife. So obviously this could go both ways, but this was back then when there was men around. You know what I'm saying? Grimm versus State, 1911. The Oklahoma Criminal Court of Appeals ruled that a husband had the right to reasonably punish his wife. Like, this is case law. State versus Oliver, 1979. A North Carolina court upheld a husband's right to physically force against his wife is reasonable defense of himself or others. Okay, this exists, guys. I ain't saying doing none of this shit. Never put your hands on anybody, but people get into fights, and it's not the state's job to intervene unless it gets to something serious. You got to pay. That just is what it is. This is what it is, guys. So when you see domestic violence, remember, they're crafting that for you to believe it and get into that process. But the law is here. So I told people, the law is here to protect them from violating your rights. And that is a violation of your rights by you get into an argument with your significant other, the police get called, and you get a domestic violence charge or harassment. No, there's no such thing. What the fuck are you talking about? And there's no such thing. You know, it is what it is. So, this is the news, and then it's just going to be, everyone's going to talk about, oh, God, they're stripping more of a gun. No, they're not. They're not doing anything that they ain't been doing already. If you got slave mentality, yep, they're taking all your rights. But if you got a free man mentality, they're not bothering you at all, right? And there's more, right? Um, uh, um, but again, there's every case is different, and I don't want to leave nobody with that because you could get charged with assault, all right? But domestic violence, they try to put you through this process for exactly what you see today, right? There's a thing called assault. If you assault somebody, I don't give a fuck who it is. You got to pay for that. You got to pay the price for that crime. That's a crime. If you beat the fuck out of your wife, that's a fucking crime, you know? Everybody has arguments. If y'all got a physical relationship, I mean, that's some different shit. Y'all put each other hands on you, y'all allow that. That's y'all. I don't do that. It's not my thing. I know the laws, but it's not my thing. So so don't let this hoopla gift you into the bunch. Just read the case law. This motherfucker was a serious fucking criminal. He does not deserve a firearm at all. I don't give a fuck if anybody disagrees with that. He don't deserve a fucking firearm. Okay, he is a danger to society. He could have killed people many different times. And I feel sorry for whoever the hell his girlfriend is, because he's a violent motherfucker. All right. And again, these are people that are not in justice. So administer justice on that motherfucker, because he doesn't have it in himself to know you don't put your hands on people. Okay. So peace and love. I got to get up off here, man. But I just had to come in because, it just is what it is. And just drop the truth. There's nothing really to talk about this. It's not affecting you only unless you got slave mentality. Now, you'll hear people with slave minds talk about this shit. Like, no, that's because you think like a fucking slave. Hey, I think like I'm free. I'm free. That shit doesn't apply to me. Never had, never will. And I even had a fake ass order of protection put on me. They told me turn in the firearms. I ain't did shit. Ain't got to. My own lawyer said you don't got to. So what the fuck y'all talking about? Peace and love, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later.